Okay, good deal. Well, I'm all over the place, as you well know. I didn't go to
Yeah.
Hawaii, which we thought might happen. We thought I might go to Alaska. Do have women's basketball later today from Mobile as Old Dominion takes on South Alabama. Christmas tournaments galore. And we've got a special guest that will join us a little bit later on in the show. That's LaVar Griffin, head basketball coach of Oscar Smith, which won the George Long Holiday Tournament Championship last night, 21st annual, beating Tony Bentley's Wakefield Warriors, the host school, by a count of 62-46. We've also got to give you a little mini snapshot preview of the college football playoff. I will not play our Final Four picks from the beginning of the season because they were so bad, the audience would just laugh at us and, say, what were you guys thinking? I think I had like Southern Cal and Penn State, and I went over. I had Clemson, who won a bowl game, by the way. Maybe all the teams I picked were to win bowl games, but have you watched any of these bowls? Some of them are hard to get into.
Yeah, I bits and pieces. Notre Dame smashing Oregon State was nice.
Oh, I know you love that.
That one I loved. I really haven't seen a whole lot. I told you at the beginning when we picked bowls, there's so many kids ridiculously jumped into the portal already that you didn't know who the heck was having what, who was playing, who wasn't. Guys worried about their pro careers, and it's a mess. We've talked about it before. It's a mess, and to me, it's really destroyed the bowl concepts and situations that I'm starting to think, and I'm all for playing as much as possible. What are the bowls really needed, especially when you see 6-6 versus 6-7 record teams playing? I just don't like the transfer portal. Is just a big turnoff. Something needs to be done.
By the way, we are streaming on Cova Sports TV, which is now with us at Hometown Sports Productions and the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Cova Sports TV, we thank them for jumping on board as we stream with you. It's still the same link that people have been clicking on our YouTube page, but we're also on Facebook with the Virginia Beach Sportsplex, virginiapreps.com on our front page. In fact, you'll see a picture of LaVar Griffin up there when you click that today. And on our Twitter page or X at 757 Sports Talks. If you have any questions you want to weigh in with us, you can do so. Unfortunately, today we don't have the list of all the scores across the Commonwealth of Virginia because there are just so many of them for boys and girls basketball. So we don't have that for you now. We might have it later on if time permits. But there are some holiday games of note. Big one this week at the Boo Williams Sportsplex and on the girls' side, Princess Anne and Menchville. PA was victorious over Menchville on Thursday in that matchup, which drew hundreds of folks out there at the PLEX in Hampton on Thursday. We'll get to what your team is up to in Carolina and how your squad's doing here in just a second. But I want to get your quick reaction on a couple of these tournament results as Princess Anne got it done over Menchville. Micah Ojo, she's going to be a big-time standout freshman. 6th double-double of the year, 29 points, 16 rebounds. That's the next great player for Darnell Dozier. Now, they did take a loss on Friday night to a really good team. Archbishop Carroll beat them 41-34. Meanwhile, Menchville, I think they bounced back. I'm looking for that score at the moment here. Actually, they lost another game to Menchville, 53-42 to St. Francis out of Maryland. But all kinds of great girls talent out there each and every week, or I should say each and every year at the Booplex when it comes to the holiday tournaments he puts on. He has different brackets and divisions, and you're going to see some previews of championships, state championships, region playoff games all across the board when you're going out there for those games. And all the holiday tournaments pretty much wrap up today because you don't really see anybody play on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
Yeah, the big ones obviously coming up is the ones that people are going to be most tuned into, as I said, with the bowl situation, all teams out of whack and what players are playing and whatever. On paper, some of the matchups look great. I know last night I think it was Arizona knocked off Oklahoma State. So Ohio State played Missouri last night. I didn't get a final on that one. I know you got Georgia, Florida State coming up. I don't know, Penn State, Mississippi already played. So some of the matchups on paper are good if everybody had all their players. We know the Final Four matchup; those guys have their players. Alabama is going to take on Michigan, and then you have Texas and Washington, and of course the two winners will play for the national championship. I do think we stretched the bowls out a little bit too long. I liked it back in the day when January 1st you had the big four: Cotton Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl. Were all played on January 1st, and then once they went into the bowl championship series and all that stuff changed. And of course, money talks now in sports, both college, pro, and of course, some high school areas, money talks. So it's thrown out of whack, and I really don't like it how it is right now. I mean, I've always liked the bowl situation, but I just think right now it's a little bit out of whack. So,
before we take a quick time out and bring in LaVar Griffin, your thoughts, as I mentioned, the high school tournaments going on. I know a big one with Princess Anne beating Menchville on Thursday night. Both teams fell on Friday. You have Western Branch, West Potomac. Western Branch was undefeated. We had Coach Thomas on the show last week after their big win over Salem. They fell in double overtime to a West Potomac squad, which was good. You're down in North Carolina. Green Run's down in North Carolina. They got a big win over Caldwell Academy, then lost to a Guilford team that's an undefeated squad. I know you played a good squad yesterday. Lansdowne and Lake Taylor won their brackets up at Wise in championships. It's always good for the kids to get out, and I think teams want to grow this time of year as you move it from December to January, right? That's the big idea, is to show some progress, get away if you can, and compete. Although there is that big local tournament here. Obviously, Boo Williams has every year with the girls event that people love, but I think it's a great opportunity for teams to get away and kind of find out your strengths and weaknesses, right?
Yeah, we had the opportunity, got invited to the tournament down here in the Raleigh area, South Granville High School Holiday Hoops Tournament. Big tournament. There's actually 16 teams, but they have it in 2 brackets of 8, and the 2 winners don't play each other. It's good to get away. We haven't been away in the last, I think it was the year before COVID, and ever since we haven't gone anywhere. We weren't allowed because of the travel and all that. And you can now, we can. So we took advantage of the invite to go. It's costly. We had to raise over $10,000 to go on this trip because we had to pay for everything. School district does not pay for trips of this nature, including feeding the kids. We had to use that all money raised to do it. So a lot of teams can't do that. And if it wasn't for my parents, who actually raised the money, the kids really didn't raise it on their own, we wouldn't be here. So I'm so grateful, indebted to our parents for having this opportunity. We've already been invited to a couple of tournaments next year. If we can raise the money and we get the permission from the district, which I'm very thankful our district, our principal, Dr. Sean Green, and the district itself does allow us to go, because they can also say, no, we don't, there's no need to take the kids out and about. And we did something very unusual. We took our JV team. That's almost unheard of. We took them with us. We got them 2 games down here. They won both their games. Good games for them against some different competition. And then we're in a 3-game tournament. We won our first game. We beat JF Webb out of somewhat of this area. We beat them by, I think, 70-40. It was not as close as I thought it would be. They didn't look the same team live against us as we saw them on film. I like to think the way we played had a lot to do with that. And then last night we had a great game against a really, really good Chapel Hill High School out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina. They are now 9-1. They beat us 41-38. And when you look at what we did, we held them to a season low. They were averaging 72 points a game. I think they're ranked 9th in their region in the state. We held them to 41, a season low, and their top kid named Marangui, point guard, about 6'1", getting some, I would say, low Division I looks here in the Carolina areas. Was averaging 24 points a game. We held him to 7, his season low, and we really frustrated the kid too, as he kind of got a little testy with some of our guys towards the end of the game. But it was back and forth, but it was low scoring. We're averaging nearly 70 points a game too, and it was 41-38. But it was a defensive struggle for both teams, and a physical game at that. And we did a good thing. I thought we played well. It's just we made mistakes at the wrong time. We had 2 opportunities to tie the game in the last 8 seconds. Both shots went away. We didn't get it. We lose the game. People asked me today, one of the coaches that's in the tournament that called me and said, "Hey, how's the refereeing?" We don't even talk about it when you go away, because
that's a common theme across the state in all these tournaments, by the way.
Yeah, but I was telling him,
we'll echo those thoughts that you may have about officiating.
Yeah, but like I told him,
another time, I'm sure.
Yeah, you can't bring that into the equation, because you're on the road. What do you expect? You're going to get all the breaks? No. And last night, it didn't hurt us in our 30-point win, obviously, and it was the same kind of officiating because you had such a big lead. Last night it hurt because when we had some opportunities to get in there, a no call or what was that call? happened was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not. That's not why you win and lose games. I'm just not going to put it on here. Yes, it curtailed some of our momentum here and there, and we had a yo-yo a lot of kids. We played everybody because we had kids in foul trouble. I think we had 3 kids end up with 4 fouls, and 2 other kids with 3. So we had to really work on subbing. But that's why you go away. I mean, it's, you're throwing everything at you, which is what you want, and it helps bring a team together. Now our problem is, can we come back today? Kids really disappointed because we would have been in the championship game. Now we're not. But we got another game against Granville Central, a very physical, not a real big team, but a very physical, take it to the basket type team that plays a physical defense. So I'm going to be interested to see how referees will call this today. But we're about to go through our shoot around and our scouting report pretty here coming up. But it's been a good trip for us. Everything else has been really good. And we took the kids to an entertainment center the other day. I did my first axe throws.
Your first axe throws. Okay.
Yeah. I could not hit the doggone board. And then an idea hit me. I drew a picture of you, put it up on the board.
That's so mean.
Through the axe, I stuck 7 in a row. I said it's the Hatfield curse. That's all it was.
Okay.
And I was able to stick it in there. And then we went bowling. I thought I got these jokers. Now I got these young kids. Man, I bowled a 96.
That's not you, because I was down in Myrtle Beach when you had your team in 2007. You had that great group with Andre Jones and Nick Wright and company, and you almost bowled a perfect game. And you told everybody how you sandbagged, you couldn't bowl worth a lick. So I'll have to ask Buck Moore or Joe Hassell, one of your assistants, to get the real skinny, if that's true. Or are you just embellishing and lying, which you tend to do from time to time? Maybe not lie. You tend to embellish from time to time.
No, I'm saying we got 9. I had a 96. Now, the coaches, we beat all the kids, but I finished 5th behind my 2 assistants. And no, Lynn, I didn't bowl for dollars, but I did take the young pups money when we played some pool.
Oh,
okay. I did a little pool shark, and I acted like I didn't know how to hold the stick, and I asked them to show me what to do, and they were looking at me like, "You ain't never played pool, coach." I said, "Well, I think I did a long time ago. Can you show me how do I hold the stick?" Oh, yeah. I took $62.48 and 1 watch and a pair of sneakers.
Oh, well, enough of us yapping, because we have to take a quick timeout and come back with our special guest, LaVar Griffin. He is waiting patiently for us from the undefeated Oscar Smith Tigers, who won the George Long Holiday Tournament Championship at 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Hatfield and Young at the Plex, or all over the web. We're on Cova Sports TV, the YouTube channel with the Virginia Beach Sportsplex, 757 Sports Talk on X or Twitter, Facebook, as well as on VirginiaPreps.com. Be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
That's the DQ Cheeseburger Lovers Deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it? Deal this good speaks for itself, I guess. DQ, happy tastes good.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We are joined by a special guest. He is the head basketball coach of the Oscar Smith Tigers, victorious on Friday night in the George Long Holiday Classic Championship, 62-46 up in Arlington. Really balanced attack. I watched this game up on YouTube, in fact, where we are streaming, by the way, on Cova Sports TV, as well as up on VirginiaPreps.com, 757 Sports Talk on X or Twitter. Really impressive performance. The thing that stuck out to me, Ed, as we bring him in, 17 assists on 24 field goals, 5 players with multiple assists as they shot 54.5% from the floor. We say hello and happy holidays and a happy new year to Coach LaVar Griffin. Coach, you made it back from Arlington. How's life treating you?
I'm so tired. We got in real late last night, and I'm just trying to, take it all in and regroup this morning because I'm like extremely tired from that ride back. But it was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
Well, as we talked about in the first segment, a lot of teams go out of town. Your squad did it, like Lancetown and Lake Taylor up in Maryland. Ed's down in North Carolina, so is Green Run playing in tournaments. But I want to know, before we dig into your team and the game last night and how the squad's developing here as you turn the calendar from 2023 to 2024, Ed did some axe throwing and bowling. So what activities did you and your team do? And please tell me you didn't throw any axes.
No, I definitely ain't throw no axes.
Okay.
No, we just, we went out to eat together. We just did a lot of, group stuff, and we didn't really go out that much because one, it was raining so bad, and when we got in, it was time for us to play and stuff. So we didn't do too much. We went out to eat together. We spent a lot of time in the hotel together, all of that good stuff. So, but it was a great experience for the guys, just going out of town and being able to play in a hostile environment and be the only ones being the only ones around, no fans, no nothing. And like I said, we went to a place where, like I said, the guys never been before.
That's awesome. And I did happen to see, though, you put up a picture. I don't know if it was you or one of your coaches on your Oscar Smith basketball Twitter account. And you guys were getting the workout there, which, by the way, on the road with the OD women's basketball team, I'm used to getting in those exercise rooms. It's good to get a little exercise in, especially early in the morning or late at night. Get a little peace and quiet, kind of. And that was good for your guys probably to bond that way, right?
Yes, it was. We get up in the morning, eat breakfast, work out. And like I said, I always tell my guys, I'm trying to get you prepared for the next level. So we did a lot of stuff that next level, colleges do. So that was just one of the things we did to get them going in the morning. Because when you're dealing with teenagers, man, they'll sleep all day long. So got them up in the morning, took them through a routine, went through walkthroughs, watched film, just exactly what you would do if you was at the next level.
He's LaVar Griffin, head basketball coach of Oscar Smith in his 18th season at the helm, coming into this year with a record of 260 and 137 overall. And they come off a region championship last year and state semifinal appearance at 757 Saturday Sports Talk with the coach, Ed Young. I'm Matt Hatfield. Ed?
Hey, LaVar, first of all, congrats on getting a win in a tough tournament in terms of who you had to play. And as you mentioned, you get to a different area. It's funny, I was telling Matt last night, we actually had, I think, more people for us here than we did local crowd. I was shocked, especially for our JV game. The 2 JV games, we definitely out-totaled the crowd. I think we had about 25, 30 people here that made the trip down, JV parents and varsity parents to come on down. But you're right, it is a different environment when you get away. You're by yourself, and it's a different gym, and it's interesting to see how the kids handle all that, and also some different style refereeing. I mentioned to Matt, It's been very different down here. I'm not putting our loss. We lost a tough one at Chapel Hill last night. A very good team, physical team out of Chapel Hill, and it was differently officiated, and I'll leave it at that. But we had 2 chances to tie it at the end, and we didn't, and that's on us. But And that's one of the reasons I wanted the tournament, was to face that. So when you go on the road and it is different style, you can have it. I'm sure you guys saw that too in your area.
Yes, definitely. Like you said, it's a good experience because, it's something I preach about in practice every single day, that we have to learn how to adjust to referees. And it's definitely different up there in Northern Virginia. And they called the game really, really, really tight. I can remember me saying to the ref, Are you gonna let the kids play? You know, and it's just an adjustment. Like I tell the guys, you just got to be able to play through that, and you got to be able to make the adjustments throughout the game. Where if they call in the reach, you can't reach. You know, if you got to move your feet better. So it's just the little things, and I think at the end of the day, it's preparing us for the future and preparing us for, the playoffs, and because when you go to the playoffs, you can have refs from anywhere, not just from the 757. So, like I said, it was tight, man. Both sides, in a way, I believe they called it even in that championship game, but at the same time, I did feel like they called it a little too tight and didn't let the kids play a little bit. But we go into halftime, we make the adjustments, and I just told the guys we got to do this and do that, and they actually went out there and did it, and we was able to come out with the win last night.
And watching that game last night, Coach, and stat tracking it, the thing that I mentioned at the top of the interview here, 17 assists, 24 field goals, your guards really spud the floor and shared the basketball so well. But also I think maybe sometimes you guys don't get enough credit for it is, because you've had so many good shooters over the years, the Donald Hickses, the Des Devanes, the Nigel Riberia's, list of guys that go on and on here. I think you defended at a very high level against a Wakefield team that had been playing really well and has a physical big man. Just speak on how this group, you had to bring in a couple new parts that, guys graduated, departed, how you guys buy into defending against different styles of play when you go on the road to a tournament like this, where they have bigs, or they have wings, they have shooters, how this group has bought into what you guys are selling philosophy-wise.
That's the first thing I talk about is defense. We take the beginning of practice, the first hour is just straight defense. It's so important to me when it comes to that, because we don't have, the 6'8" guy no more, or the 6'7", and the bigs that I had in the past. But we do have guys that buckle down and play good on-ball defense, and they play hard. And if we do that, I feel like always that we're going to win. Because it's one thing I always say is defense turned into offense. And like I said, I got a guys that are really good athletes, and they are very good, fast, quick feet guys. So, of course I had to change it this year, and not having the big guys that I had in the past. So I think we did a great job of that last night. We game plan very well. Like I said, we went through our walkthroughs. We watched film, and we came up with the plan of this is what we're going to do, and we did a good job at it. And like I said, we made our adjustments, and like I said, that's the first thing I talk about is defense. I think that's going to take us a long way. Defense and rebounding, and I'm sure Ed probably saying the exact same thing. If you play defense and you rebound, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, that's for sure, Ed. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
there's no doubt. I'm kind of chuckling when he was saying that. First of all, we're the worst rebounding team maybe in the history of basketball. We're that bad. And I don't even pay no mind. We just try to get as many shots as we can, or have to play better defense, or don't shoot us so much that we don't miss as much. When you mentioned about the defense, what was funny about our game last night was you had two teams averaging 70 points a game, and people down here were looking forward to because they thought it would be a crazy shootout. And the final score was 41-38. It was their lowest point total in 2 years. I found out they had a kid averaging 24 a game, a really good guard, getting some good low D1 looks. We held them to 7, the season low. Unfortunately, we got our season low at 38, so that screwed us up too. But it was a defensive struggle, and we were hoping to do better at the free throw line, but we only shot 2 free throws, and we went 1 for 2. So that was only 50%. But and I preach the same thing that you do, LaVar. If your offense is not clicking and you're not going to do some of the little things that need you to win, you have to buy into the defensive part, slow other people down, mark who their scores are and try to cut them down too. Try to make somebody else beat you that's not used to handling the ball, or who's not a really big scorer for them, because most high school teams only have maybe two scores on the floor at a time. So you got to cut it down. But if they're not willing to play defense, you're in for a long season.
You're absolutely right. They had a kid, number 22. I believe he's a new guy that came in for them. He was very good. He almost looked like a Zion Williamson type guy. We really had the game plan for him. he was really dominating the tournament, the first 2 games, and we really did a good job of playing defense on him. He picked up 2 early fouls and put him out, and that was the game plan. We gotta frustrate him, get him out, get him in foul trouble, take charges. All the defensive principles that we talk about, we took him out, and that made the game change, and we took advantage of the opportunity, and we didn't look back after that.
And Coach, give us some names to watch out for the fans that haven't. I know some of the audience out there, but the Ulysses Youngs, the Jacoby Harpers, and those that have contributed thus far. And I'm sure Ed's got his pad ready to write down who he's got to watch the scout report on January 27th.
LaVar, talk slow so I can write this stuff out because I can't listen fast.
Check that. January 26th is when you guys play, and that's going to be at Nance, whenever for those that want to check it out. And we're also going to flash across some of the upcoming games for the Tigers here on our screen as well, as they are now out there for fans to check out.
Hey, Matt, I'll step out of the interview because I know LaVar don't want to divulge anything, but ask him about his defenses and main offensive things and tell him if you don't understand it, because you probably won't, to diagram it and put it up on the screen.
All right.
I'll step out while he's doing that.
All right. Go ahead. Oh, we got you, Coach. Did we lose you for a second? I think we lost Coach for a second. There you go. You back with us, Coach? You there, Coach? Did we lose you? Uh-oh. Something went mute for us.
I don't know what happened.
All right, we got you. We got you, Coach. We got you. Go ahead. We got you. Break down for us a little bit of your guys, what they've brought to your team, and some of the players to watch out for if you can.
Anthony Lewis, he's a guy that really helps us out. He does a good job. He's going into his 3rd year playing varsity basketball, so he helps us out a lot. And then, of course, we have Travis Johnson that came in, played football, and LaVar Jarvis. He's also another guy that helps us out very well. And Elijah Pierre, all them guys, they guys that's been in the program, so they know the expectations for us, and they do a good job of coming off the bench if they're coming off the bench, because honestly, I haven't had a starting lineup that was consistent every single night. I kind of been switching it up every night, different guys starting the game and coming off the bench. So those guys are just making the great adjustments coming from maybe junior varsity coming up, or, and just being in the program is making it the job kind of easy, because they know what's going on. They know the expectation. They know me as a coach. So they're making it easy, and just being around them from the off season, then coming in now, them guys are of helping us a lot. Like I say, I've been playing a lot of guys, just about everybody. So it's been great, because I feel like we got a deep bench where I'm not just dependent on 5 guys on the floor. I'm dependent on the whole entire team. So it's helping a lot this year, and I think that's the reason why I believe where we at right now, starting off the season. But like I said, we got to go, and we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep working hard and see what things happen in the future.
Before I kick it back over to Ed here to finish up with you, LaVar Griffin, our guest here, Oscar Smith head basketball coach, reigning Region 6A champs who made the state semifinals a year ago, looking to make some noise again as they're currently in our top 10 in Class 6 on VirginiaPreps.com at 757 Saturday Sports Talk. You see some of the key matchups coming up, including January 20th against Tunstall, who's undefeated, just won the Northside Invitational out west, in the 15th Annual Virginia Preps Classic coming up in January at Green Run High in Virginia Beach. Western Branch, who's had a great start. They've got obviously Ed's Warriors, as well as Lake Taylor and some other heavyweights like Kings Fork in early February. But, Coach, you guys are now, 6-0 on the year? Or 7-0?
7-0.
7-0 on the season.
7-0.
I'm sure that might be ahead of expectations for some, especially when you lose a player of Kareem Stagg's caliber to IMG Academy in Florida. But I remember you telling me in the offseason, even without Stagg, who's a terrific player, we know it, it kind of goes back to your old roots of guards and playing up-tempo and playing faster.
Mm-hmm.
To speak on what you want to see out of this group as you move into the new year. You're going to have some tough tests, and now you guys can't fly under the radar anymore. You kind of got the bullseye back on your backs again, which you guys have had for the last few years.
Well, we like you said, we always had guards, throughout my coaching career, and that's what we have this year. We got good guards, and the goal is let's just play hard, play fast, and and play together. That's the one thing that I'm stressing on with the guys is just playing together because of the I think that would take you a long way. And like I said before, we was blessed to have the big guys that I had in the past years, but I am used to having them guards that can go and play hard. Of course I do miss Kareem a whole lot, and he knows that. So, but at the end of the day, with this guard play and the smartness and the experience that we have, this is what I love. I love to play the way we playing right now. And like you said, in the past when I had the Nigels and the Donalds and the Devanes and them, like it's the same type of game, and it took us to the state championship. So I just love it. I love the team. They love each other. I think we're a big happy family, and so at the end of the day, we're gonna do what we have to do to put us in the right position to win.
Yeah, and I think it shows with the stats, as I mentioned, all those assists on that many field goals. When you get players of the caliber, and Oscar Smith's always had a lot of great athletes, but to share the ball and play the way they are team-wise, it makes them a tough outcome playoff time. Yes,
it does. And like I said, they don't worry about the scoring. They just want to win. That's all they talk about. And we just want to win. And, and coming off of what we did last year, losing in the semifinals, most of those guys was a part of it. Guys I moved up from JV and they experienced it. They felt it, and they want to get back. They want to get back. And like I said, it's a good group of kids. Like they just a good group. They're good guys. They're good in the classroom. They're good in the home. They're good in the community. And it makes a difference because it's just to them, it's just about being together and winning basketball games.
Ed?
No, I mean, I agree with what a lot of what LaVar is saying. And, being an opponent of his, I can attest to the fact that his kids do go at it hard. There's usually, I made a comment a few minutes ago about most teams only can put 2 scores on the floor. They can put 5 scores on the floor. It really stretches your defense out. The old proverbial pick your poison because you can't cover everybody. Yeah, size would be nice to have, but, I've always said in my career too, give me speed. Give me quickness because that's hard to defend. You can defend height. I mean, example, team we played last night had a 6'8" kid. He's not a aircraft carrier. He's a mobile 6'8", averaging a double-double. But we were able to hold him to 2 points and only 4 rebounds. He was not a problem. But their quicker kids gave us issues because they were quick off the dribble and they can get to the hole quick. And, of course, we're not a muscle team, so they use muscle to get there. But I can attest to that fact. LaVar, I got to ask you this. I know it's still early, but is any maybe a youngster, first-year varsity performer, maybe that you can shout out that's kind of doing some things you want, maybe not scoring a ton of points, but a youngster that maybe people got to look out for in the next month or so?
No, I really don't. Like I said, it's balanced out. With all the guys, like we balance. If you look at us, our stats, sure, I probably have 3 guys in double figures and guys right there in between, almost double figures. Some nights I have 5 guys in double figures. So it's not really a guy that is a standout, Of course, Ulysses is basically, the experienced 4-year guy, but at the end of the day, every night is a different night. We usually have 4 or 5 guys in double figures. So we don't have just the go-to guy. It could be any given night with any of those guys. And that's the blessing that I have and that's what I love, when it's balanced like that. Because that right there could be any given night for any given guy. And it makes teams hard to scout at the same time too, because you don't know what this guy gonna do. You don't know what this guy gonna do that night. So it ain't just one guy that teams could just point at. So it's balanced. I don't really have that guy. It's balanced out as a team. So like I said, that's the best thing I love about this team is any given night from any of those guys.
It's funny you say that, Coach, because I was watching a game last night, and Ulysses Young was the MVP, and rightfully so for also all tournament selections in Jacoby Harper and Cam Walters. But I'm looking at the stats, and it feels like he hasn't scored yet. And then he had 5 assists, and in the second half, I think he had 3 or 4 possessions in a row where he just got people the ball and did what he was supposed to do. And he can have a game where he drops 20. So you're right. I think you guys are very difficult to kind of prep and defend and how you handle, because it's not like you have to take away this big man or get the ball out of this guy's hands, because different guys can strike free. And Harper certainly had I thought like a breakout type of night for you in a big spot there. We'll get you on this one, a fun one, instead of the basketball talk, which I'm sure we'll have you on the podcast as we get closer again come playoff time later on. All right, what's the plans for New Year's? You and the family, the missus, anybody got anything special here to watch the ball drop, or do you just go to sleep and get some rest now because you've been on the road so long?
Man, I'm gonna be with Mom. Been with Mom. We had a pass. My father passed away last year, and it was a rough time for us. And I'm just gonna make sure I'm with Mom, and I just want to, come out with a good year this year, and that's the plan. That's the plan, and I'm just going to enjoy myself. And first of all, I'm going to relax. It was a long week, so I'm sure Ed's gonna probably do the same thing. We're going to relax and get ready for this get ready for January.
He's not going to relax. He's going to be busy throwing axes at people, including me, like pictures of me in his hotel room or something. That's what he does. He doesn't relax.
That was it. LaVar did the first axe throw. I missed the first 27 throws. I put a picture of Hatfield. We enlarged it on this photo screen. I put it up there. I stuck 7 in a row.
Yeah, he's just mad because he's losing in the NFL picks to me. Well, he had a lead, now it's shrinking, as we'll do that coming up here. But hey, Coach, we thank you for the time today. All the best. Looking forward to seeing you guys over there at the Dollar Dome. You can see the ticker scrolling across with some games. Circle those on your calendar if you're an Oscar Smith fan or a high school hoops fan. You can check out the Tigers in the months of January and February coming up. All the best to you and your family and the Tigers. Happy New Year, and we'll catch up with you again soon, Coach. Appreciate it.
LaVar.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you. That's LaVar Griffin, our guest here with us on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We appreciate him stopping by with us here on the pod today. Hey, we're going to take our timeout. We've got a couple of quick thoughts on the bowl games coming up as far as the college football playoff goes, and also our NFL picks to finish up this edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It is Hatfield and Young at the Plex, or in Carolina, Alaska, Alabama, Hawaii, all over the world. We're global.
And
we're
you in your neighbor's house again as you snuck through the back door. I found out you go through the doggy door. So now I know how you get inside the doggone house.
Doggy door. But I have 3 dogs. Let me tell you something. And one of them is not a Shih Tzu, but one of them is constantly, every time I leave the house, he goes into the little laundry room, and he finds my pants, and he decides to not do what I just said that one dog is. He does the opposite, where it gets yellow on the pants. That's what he does, is you shake your head over there.
You can only get this kind of info on this podcast.
Pretty much. So that's where we are with that. And every time I leave, Snuggles says, I'm going to make you pay. And he makes me pay through the nose. Almost as much as Sean Payton, but that's another story for another time. We're going to take a time out and come back with more.
Oh, my God. I've lost a lot of respect for that man.
Lost a lot of respect. Hey, NFL picks are coming around the corner too, but another time out here with Hatfield and Young at the Plex. Stay tuned.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Cheeseburger Lovers Deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it? Deal this good speaks for itself, I guess. DQ, happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Welcome back to 757 Sports Talk. No, it's not in the pool. It's Hatfield and Young at the PLEX, the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Here are two guys that, even though they never shut up, they're always dropping pearls of wisdom. Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
For this show to close things out, Ed, what do we have on deck here?
Well, you had an opportunity. You went out and saw the big Allen Iverson tournament, excuse me, at Bethel High School last week, and you got a chance to speak to one of Norview's fighters, Keon Mitchell, a youngster getting recruited by a lot of people. I had the pleasure, I'll say pleasure, of facing him in a scrimmage earlier in November. And tremendous athlete, really good player. And you had a chance to talk to him after the big win over John Champ. So let's see what the young man had to say.
I'm here with Norview guard Keon Fats Mitchell, class of 2026 Pilots beat John Champ 72-47 here in the Iverson Holiday Showcase. Keon, you finished up with 25 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals. But I got to know, I haven't heard why. Your nickname Fats. How did that nickname come about? I got to know.
Because I was fat when I was a baby.
Oh, okay. Well, are you cool with the nickname, or you want it changed at some point?
I'm cool with it now.
Are you cool with it? Okay. First minute and a half of the game, you hit 2 threes to start out the game. Was that something you just came, in thinking you could do, or just flow of the game? What was kind of your mindset coming in?
If I'm open, I'm going to let it go because I can shoot it.
We saw you last year be among the top scorers in both the Eastern District and the area. From freshman to sophomore year, as you went into the summer, what were the things you were concentrating on your game to work on and elevate your play even more?
To be more poised, less turnovers, score the ball easier, get it under control.
Sure. Last year was kind of your team with Jalen Milton. Now you're the guy, if you will, leading the way. You got some other help with Joshua Fagan and Marquise Jones and others on his team. What does Coach Foster and the staff ask out of you this coming year as far as you guys? I know you have big goals and aspirations.
Okay. You want us to lead. We can take this team far. We got a young team. We're going to be back next year, too.
And last year you had some tough battles, got to the playoffs, fell in the first round. I think it was the Woodside eventual state champs. You got a big win recently against Maury. How much of that win, city rival, district, big game, helped kind of the confidence of the group?
They gave us a lot of confidence. First game of the season, kind of set the tone for the season. Let them know we're coming.
Did you have any goals in mind statistically? I mean, you put up a lot of points last year. Anything in terms of points, assists, steals that you kind of went into the year with trying to reach for as far as a bar or milestone?
I'm trying to get closer to my 1,000-point bar, but I just want to win. Whatever it takes to win, you got to win.
You played in the summer with Boo Williams on the travel circuit. You're regarded, like I said, one of the best guards in 2026 in the state. College is starting to take notice of you. Have you gotten some offers? And if so, who's in the picture so far? Shown a lot of interest or offered you so far?
I got 2 offers, Charleston University and Norfolk State University.
Okay, what do you think? One's a local school in Norfolk State. You've been by for team camp. What's kind of your vibe with Coach Jones and the Spartans?
We're cool. Hometown. We be in touch.
When you're playing a game, I noticed Virginia Tech was here today. Do you notice college coaches in the building? And when you go at AAU events, do you notice that? And how do you play not to pay attention to that, if you will?
It just made me want to go harder. I seen Virginia Tech today. It just made me want to go even harder.
Sure. I know Coach Byers was here. For you, did you grow up with any dream schools? Any colleges that you like to say that would be a dream offer to? Be honest. I know there's got to be a couple that would appeal to you if you got them eventually.
UCLA or Duke.
UCLA or Duke. What is it about those two?
I don't know. I just been watching them since I was a kid.
Okay, gotcha. How about favorite players? You got a couple of players you pattern your game after, or you enjoy watching on TV, beating the pros college game?
My favorite player, LaVar, but I don't really model my game after nobody.
Sure.
I want to be the next me.
Be the next Keon Mitchell. Gotcha. Last one for you. This team here, I know you're in Class 5, rugged with Woodside and Maury and Kingsport and other teams, but what's it going to take for the Pilots come playoff time for me to be interviewed after a big win and possibly going to states?
We got that dog from Norview. We like to get out of the mud.
Yeah. And they got a chip on our shoulder, get it out of the mud. He said, Keon Fats Mitchell, thanks so much. All the best and happy holidays. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Good job, man. So that was Keon Mitchell of the Norview Pilots, victorious over John Champ in the Iverson Holiday Showcase. We've got some other interviews. I don't know if we'll have time today. Jarquez Garrett of Lafayette. They beat Phoebus. Hampton coach Eric Brown. Mike Holland of Churchland after they beat Bethel. They can check it out on our YouTube channel. It is Hatfield and Young at the Plex. So we got NFL picks coming up here, Ed. But 20-plus points per game for him. He's got the 2 offers from Charleston and Norfolk State, but I think his list is only going to grow, and his accolades are only going to increase as time moves along as well.
Yeah, I like the nickname Fats. He said he's okay with it now. He was a fat baby, but he's okay now. But his game is fat. His game, he can play. I'm not surprised he has a couple offers already. The kid is really focusing on what he does. He's a tough guard to go against. When I don't mean a guard in the actual position. He's harder to defend because he can do a lot of different things. Uses both hands. He's a good one. Rick Foster, head coach at Norview, has got himself a good one. And it's always nice to have your leader as one of your best, if not the best worker, and understands what's in a coach's head. That's pretty hard to do. And he can put that out on the floor. A lot of things get done a lot easier.
Yeah, a lot of good teams in the Eastern District. Obviously, Booker T got off to a good start. Sherstone was making a lot of noise behind Sincere Jones for Mike Hollins Truckers. Morey's a traditional power from the days of Jack Baker and continuing with Brandon Plummer there. And they just got their big guy back in Tyler Bell. And Lake Taylor hasn't taken a loss since the Eastern District tournament. Norview hasn't, I don't think, taken a loss either. That could be a collision course, big showdown when those two meet later on in the season. So there's some games to circle, even beyond these holiday tournaments going on right now across the Eastern as we move it into January and get closer to playoff time.
Well, again, a lot of teams, December is your get it together month. What do you have? Playing people, trying to get some bench, some time. What's your rotation? What seems to work best? That's why you hear all these coaches going to these tournaments if they're blessed and able to do that. You get away from home environment where we're beat up on each other, spring leagues, fall leagues, summer leagues, regular season. So you get away and just play a completely different type of competition. Try some different things. I know we've tried some things down here that we haven't used in our games back home yet, and some things I would like to probably use down the road. And some of it looks good, and some of it we need to keep working on it. Mm-hmm. But it's what you do. It's why you get out. And, we're fortunate to have 3 games. Our third one will be today to try a lot of different things. We've used a couple different starting lineups, which will help. When we get back to play in January back home, of our 13 guys, we will have had 7, I think it is, 7 or 8. I think it's 7 that have started and played starter minutes. And our rotation, you heard LaVar talking about rotation. Our rotation right now has 9 guys with 10 or more minutes, which surprises me tremendously right now. I never thought we'd have that. I think last year we ended up with 7 guys the whole season with only 10 minutes or more per game, which is way below my normal average, as I drive a lot of people, including my assistants and you at times, subbing like crazy, like I'm supposed to. But you if you're fortunate enough to play end of season basketball, you've got to have people ready to play just in case. And we just went through the flu bug right before Christmas. Newport News, the Warwick tournament. We didn't have more than 8 kids dressed either game of our 13, 9 kids dressed of our 13, as we had kids homesick or sitting in the stands sick. And we thought, oh boy, here we go. Now down here, we've had everybody. Now we do have one kid with a turned ankle. Our starting point guard, Chase Knight, won't play today because of a turned ankle. We just want to be cautionary about it. So we're going to rest him because we don't play again until January 6th, Western Branch Showcase. So we'll get a chance to play some of our other guys. We got a young point guard, KJ Dixon, a sophomore. We'll probably give him a start today, give him his first high school start on a varsity level, and against a really tough opponent. So we'll see what he can do.
Before we go to break here into our NFL picks, your thoughts on the 2 games with Washington and Texas, as well as Michigan and Alabama. You got the Sugar Bowl, where Washington's about a 4-point dog in most places. Obviously, Texas's defensive line is one of the best in the country with Byron Murphy and Tavondre Sweat. It's probably the best that the Washington offense has gone up against, but Washington counters with arguably the best quarterback of the 4 left here, Michael Penix Jr. They got some good weapons, Jalen Polk. It's going to be curious to see how this game goes as far as the early flow of it, because one of the safeties for Texas got suspended for the first half because of targeting Derek Williams. So he's going to sit out the first half of the Sugar Bowl. As a coach, when you're missing one of your key guys on defense, Is it just get to halftime where it's even up, or do you think there's pressure on Washington to kind of get that lead, knowing that they were able to play in front against Oregon both times they met? What's kind of your feel on that? Is that a big deal in this game, or not that big a deal? Before we get,
I think anytime you lose a starter, it's a big deal. But I'll say this: at that level, especially Texas, the guy behind him can't be that bad. And I'm sure he's played. And if he hasn't, that's on the coaches.
Well, hold on a second. Did you watch the Ohio State-Missouri game?
Some parts of it. Who won that game?
The guys behind Marvin Harrison Jr. and some of them, they're not the same. So I know that the conventional wisdom is if you're at Florida State, Texas, Southern Cal, now Southern Cal won its game. They had a quarterback to step right in.
He played well. Moss kid played well.
He was awesome. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag of that, honestly.
I think, well, in the Ohio State situation, you got Marvin Harrison, best receiver in college football.
Hands down. Yeah.
Anybody steps in behind him is going to look like a high school or JV because he's that good. But I say at those levels, I'm sorry, you have an opportunity to recruit. You guys are paying players now legally and illegally. You got to get out and find them. If you're at level. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is nowadays. I'll jump on board like everybody else that you're almost like a pro team now. But I don't think it'll hurt Texas as much. That front line is going to give Penix a lot of trouble in terms of sitting back there and be able to throw. Nobody wants to give Washington credit for who they are. I don't think most people don't even want to see Washington in it. Florida State, Georgia, even Ohio State, people say should have been in it. Okay, well, who should be out? I've heard people say, well, Washington. Well, they won the Pac-12. Well, if they wouldn't have won the Pac-12, if they would have had one loss, they would have been playing in the Potato Chip Bowl. They would have never been in this one. So they're the big underdog. And I think they have enough to knock off Texas, but I don't think they will. I think not because they're not good enough. I just think Texas is that good to get there. Even though I'm the one that said Texas shouldn't be in the bowl, it should have been Florida State. But I can see Texas winning. The other game, Michigan, Alabama. I think Michigan.
By the way, you got a score pick for us on that game? You're going to go Texas. What? I think the line's 4, total 63.5. So what are you going? Texas, what's your score?
I'm going to go Texas, probably 33-28.
I'm gonna surprise you. I've been back and forth on this game all week. I think the Washington running game for Kellen DeBoer is very underrated, and I think Dylan Johnson is going to have a pretty darn good game. Former Mississippi State running back. I think Washington will get out to a big lead, a la TCU against Michigan last year, and hang on for dear life. I do think it'll be points, a lot of scoring. I'm going to go Washington 40-36. How about that?
I like that. That's
what about the other game? Alabama, Michigan. This one's a fascinating battle. I look at Michigan and I wonder, do they have enough offensive firepower? I know, Blake Corum is a grinded-out running back, and that Michigan defense is lights out. But is J.J. McCarthy going to be able to match Jalen Milroe and the Bama offense score for score if Bama gets up a couple scores? I just look at the way Michigan's played lately, and they feel conservative, and I don't know if they have enough explosiveness to beat Alabama, which is weird to say maybe. And they, are a slight 1.5, 2-point favorite in this game. But what's your feel in the other game?
I'm going with Alabama because it's so much eyes on Michigan for all kind of reasons why, different reasons why.
Get over the hump. Yeah.
I think this will be Harbaugh's last game and on a college level. I'm going with Alabama, not because of all that. I think on paper, Alabama's a better team. I would say maybe in my head it's, 28-24, a real close game. Not as high scoring as the other game will be. Now, I always say in these kind of situations, the underdog is going to win one of them, and the person supposed to win is going to win. It almost always happens of that nature.
True.
So we're looking at Michigan as a slight favorite, and we're looking at Texas as a slight favorite. Am I right?
Yes. What's your score, by the way, for this game? Have you made a pick yet on the score?
28-24, Alabama.
Okay. I'm going to go a smidge lower. I'm going to take Bama as well. And I'm going to go Bama. I'm going to say they win it 23-21. And I do think the receiving play of Jermaine Burton, along with Isaiah Bond, that great call Brad Nessler had when he had the TD against Auburn. I think that'll be the difference. I know Michigan's defense can win this thing up front, and it would not stun me if they did win this game. But they're going to need Roman Wilson to have a monster game from McCarthy catching the ball. And I think Bama's – I think they're hitting their stride now. They're tough to beat in these spots. It's hard to go against Saban as a dog, and he's a slight dog in this game. And Harbaugh and company want to get over this hump after losses to Georgia and TCU previously here in this playoff. So we agree on one. We differ on the other. Coming up next, it's time for the NFL picks in the league where they play for pay. And by the way, they had a Pop-Tarts bowl. They had a human Pop-Tart get eaten, basically, go through a toaster. They had mayonnaise dumped on the West Virginia coach. Can you imagine someone dumping my question to you as we go to break, and this is the question out there for all the
What
audience.
would it take for somebody to dump a ton of mayonnaise on me? I already know Hatfield.
Yes. What would it
comes up with
take?
some of the strangest
What would it
doggone
take?
things.
What would it take on one of your suits? Oh my gosh, I could just see you having a hissy fit, stomping up and down like a little kid.
Hey, speaking of my suit, I came out with my Al Pacino suit down here. The Carolina fans, they never took their eyes off me the entire game.
Yeah.
They were like, what?
Look at a shout out by LaVar Barrett. Coach Young still having productive young men in society. Good deal.
Oh, man, Lamar, as my guy. I appreciate that. We're trying, Lamar. We're trying, like everybody involved in the coaching business. Somebody like Lamar, who's doesn't have his own particular team. I always try to get the youngsters straight before that, so they can do something in society. And it's funny because I was hired as a high school coach to, get a team and try to win some games, but it's a whole lot more than that. But we do have fun doing it.
For sure. All right, we're going to do NFL picks when we come back. It is Hatfield and Young, 757 Saturday Sports Talk at the Plex or whereabouts unknown. Stay tuned. We're going to hear from some of the sponsors that make it possible.
Revitalize your property today. Shine Time is your turnkey solution for all power washing and painting projects. With years of experience in both residential and large-scale commercial settings, their focus is to bring new life to your home, building, or outdoor space and ensure 100% customer satisfaction every time. Shine Time Power Wash.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
The DQ Cheeseburger Lovers Deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it? Deal this good speaks for itself, I guess. DQ, happy tastes good.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And that music means it's time for the NFL picks in the league where they play for pay. But before that, we have to throw it up there on the screen real quickly, Ed, let you look at it. Our man Derek Fulgham, who's a loyal listener back from the radio days and now on the podcast with us, sends us these images. He was at the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Check this out. See our man Derek on the screen. We'll take us off for a second and get a better look. How about that? You see him at the Pop-Tarts Bowl. How about that? Pretty cool, right?
I think I saw that guy, that Pop-Tart walking around.
Yeah, Pop-Tart. He was not the Pop-Tart mascot, but maybe our man Keith was the Pop-Tart. We're still waiting to hear from Keith. We're going to get Keith hopefully on the show. For the
missed that guy. We missed Keith.
All right, it's time for the NFL picks. Are you ready to see how you did last week? How you did last week?
Highly
You were red hot, and now you've gone to the toilet.
Fuming, absolutely fuming. How in the world could I be? What? I'd won like 9 out of 10 games or something like that. Or
well, let's put it up on the screen for those that want to get refreshed. The strategy was for weeks and weeks and weeks and years and years and years was to go against Ed Young's picks, and you'd make a lot of coin. But here it is now, 26-19-3 for Edward after the 10-1-1 hot streak over 4 weeks. He has gone the other way. And with it being a 10-1-1 hot streak and now 0-3, it allows me to go 2-1 to get to 26-21-1. One on the over 41.5 Jags Bucks, which I know was 43.5 by kickoff, but we got it here on the show at 41.5, 30-12 final. Detroit -3 was a winner, 30-24 as they held up the Vikings. I did lose on a game I was counting as a W with the Packers, 33-30 over Carolina. They did not cover the spread there. And meanwhile, Ed had Buffalo -12.5. That's a loss. Denver -7 or 7.5. That's a loss against the Patriots. By the way, what are you doing, Sean Payton? You're calling 2 timeouts on first and second down to give Bill Belichick a chance to throw it deep on you and get either a pass interference or big play, and they got it after you came from 16 down. You would have signed for overtime. And by the way, you're burning timeouts for an offense that just went 3 and out in 40 seconds the possession before. And if you have so much faith in Russell Wilson to win it for you there, calling the timeouts, why are you benching him for Jarrett Stidham? We know the answer. It's because it's all about the money. And then you want to give these press conference speaks about how, no, I'm not really trying to, what was it he used? Get into this. This is for management. Stop it. Hogwash. Anyhow, I'm getting mad at a game that you lost. It shouldn't matter to me. Actually, it does matter to me. That's what
I am. I've lost respect for Sean Payton. I really have. Not just for the game management, but the stuff with Russell Wilson. I'll blame Denver management too, but I would put it. Sean Payton, you're supposed to fight for your players. Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. Good luck. We're trying to win games. Not a joke. That's a joke. They have no shot. They got in the playoffs. They're going to get blasted anyways.
No. They're not getting in the playoffs. Whoa, Denver's not getting in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. If he said he's trying to win games.
I got you.
Please. And it has a lot to do with money, a whole lot. That's why the argument ensued on the sidelines in front of national TV against. And I get hot at players too and come back and say, hey, I should have lost my cool. Of course, my kids are just high school kids. They're going to make mistakes. But you don't do that to somebody in national TV and whatever. That's a behind-the-scenes situation. I just lost respect for Sean Payton.
Now, you know who has a chance to make the playoffs? They beat the Colts this week. Ed's Las Vegas Raiders, who got themselves a 20-14 win over the Chiefs. Ed takes over 40.5. Chiefs Raiders. Who would have thought the Chiefs would be the one to let them down to get over the total? So 0-3 for him. Drops him to 26-19-3. Bruce did his typical 1-1-1. He won on the Chargers plus 12.5 against the Bills. Went head-to-head with Ed. Got the W there. Double whammy. Love that. Lost on the Colts plus 2.5 as Taylor Heineke and the Falcons got it done against the Colts, and he pushed on the Dallas plus 2 against Miami. Oy vey, 22-20 Dolphins win it. What is Mike McCarthy doing? So there you have it. Those are the picks. And let's now get to this week's picks. And we'll show you Bruce's here in a second. But first, we got another comment. Someone tuned in. Oh, the Virginia Wesleyan Hall of Famer, FC Hall of Famer, Mark Butts. Good morning, guys. Hope you had a great Christmas. Hope you did too, Coach. We missed you on the sidelines. Happy New Year's as well. Let's get Mark on the show sometime. Who's a diehard Rams fan, by the way, and has to be thrilled, not just about their Super Bowl a couple years ago with Matthew Stafford and company, but that they are probably going to be a playoff-bound team this year as they have a good chance to get in there and maybe even cause a little havoc if they get in there. So good to hear from Coach Butts out there. All right, Ed, here's what Bruce has got for Week 17 before I go first because you lost. Bruce is going New England plus the 14 against Buffalo. A lot of points. He likes the points. He's going Chicago. The Bears laying the points against Heineke. He's going against the Falcons 2 weeks in a row here. We'll see how it does for Bruce. And he's going Jacksonville, even without Trevor Lawrence. Going to miss the start for like the first time in his football career, pro, college, maybe high school days. Is it C.J. Beathard's playing quarterback? Minus 3.5 against the hapless, helpless, hopeless Panthers, who are trying to spring the upset of those, was it 95, 96 NFL expansion teams back in the day? Panthers and Jags?
Yeah, that's true. That those teams came in together. I was going to take Jacksonville in the minus the 3.5.
Well, you still can. You can still copy him, but we'll get to your picks in a second because I get to go first here.
Yeah, you're going first, and I know where you're going.
Where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? Ped, let the audience know. Where do you think I'm going?
Eagles, Cardinals.
No, I'm not. You're wrong.
Good.
I'm not going to that game. I'm going to America's Dream, which is sometimes America's Team. And it's going to be America's Team tonight. Do you know why? Because Jimmy Johnson gets in the Ring of Honor for how about them Cowboys? Can you imagine how much the world will blow up? ESPN will blow up. Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, all those guys on networks go crazy. If the Cowboys lose 3 in a row and they lose their first home game of the year, it's not going to happen. It's down to minus 5.5, which is a gift for me. I know the big defensive tackle stud for Dallas is out. I don't care. The Lions are still celebrating with champagne like it's New Year's Eve over their first division title since the early 90s. And that defense is not great. That running game is very good. Dan Campbell's injected some physical play, and I'm going to put up about ostrich eggs and Dan Campbell later on as we move the calendar to 2024 to let Ed Young go on a rant about him and ostrich eggs. But that's not for today. We're short on time. Give me the Cowboys, minus 5.5. Ostrich eggs or no ostrich eggs. How about them Cowboys? America's Dream will be America's team for a week. Maybe beat the Commanders, maybe not. And then come playoff time, they'll do what they usually do. You get to take the next two, sir.
Well, you took mine. I think to me that was the only guaranteed game of the week.
Take that, SED.
Yeah, I figured you would do that. That's you. And Jimmy Johnson's hair, just like yours, is going into the Ring of Honor. We got to get Hatfield's hair into the Ring of Honor somewhere.
Hey, a little dabble, do you?
Still need to do that. We definitely do. Wow. I don't like most of these games this week. I really don't. I almost want to pass. I'm going to go with the team that hurt me last week. And I've had trouble with them all year. When I pick them, they this is the new Kent of the NFL. The Atlanta Falcons.
New Kent of the NFL. That's funny.
Give me Atlanta plus 2.5 over the Bears in Chicago, which is probably a dumb pick, but I'll take that one.
So you're going Oppo Bruce Pearl here. You're going Falcons. Oh, yes. I would love this if the Bears. Dino would love this too. He's not with us, unfortunately. But Dino, he's still with us here on Earth, but he's not with us on this particular show. So you're going Falcones. All right, what's your next pick?
Okay. Well, I really don't like these games at all. I really want to go against Sean Payton, but that's more of a picking with your brain instead of your heart instead of your brain.
Don't make it personal. You make it personal with enough people. Don't do it with him.
Can't make it personal. You know, you do it's business on his end. I just don't think you do a veteran like Russ. Maybe we can get Russell Wilson to come to the Raiders next year, but that's highly doubtful. I think he'll be in Washington next year. Let me see here. I know I'm diddle-dallying around on purpose.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Places to be.
You said it was C.J. Beathard quarterbacking.
I think that's right.
I don't know if it was his dad, Pete Beathard, former NFL coach, player a long time ago, quarterback for Houston, Kansas City. Look it up. Give me the Jags minus 3.5 at home against the Panthers.
By the way, he's the grandson of former NFL executive Bobby Beathard. He's the son of country music songwriter Casey Beathard. He's the brother of country music singer Tucker Beathard. So there's your
he's not related to the former Kansas City.
There's your Beathard breakdown.
Pete Beathard. Okay.
Which you only get on this show. What was your pick again? I got all confused after all the Beathard bonanza.
Jacksonville over Carolina.
So you're copying Bruce and going oppo Bruce. Nice job of you to stick with those two games. I get to go for the next two and the last two. All right, so I'm going Dallas minus the 5.5. It was 6 this week. I love it. Where do I go next? Do I go with an over-under? Do I go with a point spread? I'm actually going to go with an over-under here. And this is a dangerous one. I'm going to go under the 42.5 with the Raiders and the Colts. Now, the Colts can score, but the Raiders' defense has been good with Max Crosby up front. And then backup quarterbacks. You got Minshew against, is it Aiden? What is his name playing for quarterback for your Raiders? Who the heck's playing quarterback? It ain't Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. Who is it?
Aiden O'Connell.
And they don't have Josh Jacobs running the ball for big yardage. I think this will go under 42.5. That means you need to have 6+ touchdowns in this game. I don't see it. I don't see more than 6 in this game. I'll take under 42.5 for pick number 2. So I go with the under there. I win against Detroit, taking the Cowboys. By the way, speaking of Detroit, we're going to have a former Detroit pitcher of fame on the show. We think maybe next week. We're efforting Denny McClain. You remember him, Ed? Former
former 30-game winner.
Our good friend Russell Savage from the 757 Sports Card and Collectibles show is efforting us Denny McClain. So we're going to actually connect with him hopefully by next week on the show as we move into calendar year 2024. We'll get Russell on, too, before his big card show. We might even do it from there. We'll see if the powers that be and the technical aspects allow us to do just that. Last pick here, as I'm stalling, looking for a good selection here. I think my Cardinals will cover, by the way, against the Eagles. You know, I've gone up against the Buccaneers all year long. I've gone anti-Bucks. I don't know why I've done it all year long. Minus 2.5 at home. It feels like a good play. Why not? The Saints with Derek Carr, their best days have – and you know what? Ed, this is a chance to clinch the division. Give me Tampa Bay. I've never picked them all year long. I've gone against Baker and the boys, Todd Bowles and company. They'll win the division here with a minus 2.5 winner over the Saints at home. I believe in you now, Tampa. Don't let me down now, because if you let me down now, I will be so angry at you guys. Give me the Bucks laying the 2.5. After pummeling the Jaguars last week. Their defense has gotten better, by the way. What's your last selection?
Well, I want to do over and under, but nothing's jumping out at me. As I said, this to me is a bad week to pick.
I'll give you a high-scoring game real quick. How about Brissett and the Commanders over 49.5 with the Niners? The Commanders' defense can't stop a nosebleed, and Brissett's actually led some second-half comebacks the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I'm not touching that one.
Okay. Tried to help you out.
I know. Help me with this. Give me the Rams over the Giants, that minus 6.
Oh, you believe in Butts' Rams. Lay in the 6.
Yeah, I'm going to go in honor of Mark Butts.
And what would be great is if the Rams win this game by 5, 25-20, and Ed loses and the Rams win. Make Mark happy and Ed sad. That'd be great. I love that. And I go up by a game on you after being behind for the last few weeks, trying to beat him in the NFL picks.
I'm almost getting a feeling I'm going to be going, instead of my 10-1, I'm going to be going 0-10 coming up now at the end of the season. And then I'll get fired because, you know, me and Belichick are not winning at the end. So we got to go elsewhere.
That's going to do it. To recap, Bruce has got Patriots plus 14, Bears minus 2.5, Jags minus the 3.5. Edward Vincent Young, what's he got? He's got minus 3.5 for Jacksonville, plus 2.5 for the Falcons. So he agrees with Bruce on one, Oppo on another. Minus 6 for the Rams against the Giants. And meanwhile, yours truly going with the Bucks minus 2.5, as well as the Dallas Cowboys minus 5.5, and an over-under special of under 42.5. for the Colts and the Raiders. That's going to do it for this edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Enjoy your weekend, Ed, and a Happy New Year to you and all the loyal viewers, listeners, followers out there, and I will talk to you all in 2024.
Hey, everybody make sure, you know, if you're going to bring in the new year out and about, don't do it in a crazy manner. No drinking and driving, obviously. Be safe. Let's start the new year out for everybody, and wishing everybody a great new year, and not just today, but the whole year. Everybody will be good, and let's see what it brings.
Thanks for watching all year long in 2023, and all our sponsors and supporters, and Chuck Thornton, Nick Senti, Dennis McEwen, the whole gang from Hometown Sports Productions, Cova Sports. You've been watching with us on Cova Sports TV, the Facebook channel of the Virginia Beach Sportsplex, 757 Sports Talk on X or Twitter, and, of course, on VirginiaPreps.com. He's the coach, Ed Young. I'm Matt Hatfield. We'll talk to you in 2024. Stay safe and a Happy New Year, everyone.